Welcome to Total Retail Talks, your podcast channel for retail knowledge.
Hi, and welcome to episode 228 of Total Retail Talks. I'm Joe Keenan, Executive Editor of Total Retail. Joining me today is Marcus Wilson, co-founder of NOBULL, a footwear, apparel, and accessory brand for people who train hard and don't believe in excuses. We're going to be discussing NOBULL's story and how the brand is making a name for itself in the competitive fitness category. Thanks for joining me, Marcus.
Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
So let's start by having you briefly tell our audience a little bit about NOBULL.
Well, as you in your intro, NOBULL is a training brand for people who work hard and don't believe in excuses. We launched in 2015, focused initially on the CrossFit market with footwear and apparel and accessories, and we've been expanding into kind of other areas of fitness and training over the last few years and having a lot of fun along the way.
So maybe you want to talk a little bit about the distribution channels for your products, the e-commerce site. I believe you have brick and mortar as well. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. So when we first launched, it was purely e-commerce based here in the U.S. Along the way, we launched a website, a European website. We also sell through Amazon. We have a couple of key partners, WIT Fitness in the UK, Rogue Fitness here in the US. And about a year ago, we opened our first retail door. So we now have 4 retail doors, one that is here in Boston, that's based out of our headquarters. We have one that is in Soho, New York, which was the first one that we opened last year. We have one that recently opened in Miami that we've been doing a lot of fun things with, and we have a pop-up that we did with Amazon and Simon along the way.
So how about your professional background? Do you have background in retail, or is this a kind of a new venture for you personally?
No background in retail, so it has definitely been a process, learning a lot, making some mistakes, but most importantly, kind of always keeping the ball moving forward. So my business partner, Michael Schaefer, and I worked together years ago at Reebok. So he was the global creative director, so responsible for footwear and apparel design globally, and I was the head of brand strategy. And when I left to help someone start a venture capital firm and got into the whole startup world. And Michael and I would talk about what it would be like to, start our own thing. So we have a background in footwear and apparel, certainly in the athletic space, but retail has been a totally new endeavor for us, but we're really having a lot of fun with it.
So let's talk a little bit about your customer, that the target demographic that you're going after, and then some of the ways that you're trying to connect with those customers.
Sure. So as I mentioned, when we initially launched, it was really focused on the core CrossFit consumer. But what we've been finding is that there's been a lot of kind of organic growth for us into other areas of the training market. And our kind of brand ethos, if you will, about working hard and not believing in excuses, clearly connects with the CrossFit market, but it really has been connecting with a broader training market. So people who are going to Equinox or Barry's Boot Camp, or professional athletes, in the NBA, NFL, Major League Baseball. These are all people who work hard and are proud of kind of getting away from the excuses. And there's something about our brand message that has really connected powerfully with them. So we're seeing people, who are running marathons in the NOBULL running shoe. There are people who are competing in a variety of different types of competitions that are kind of outside the scope of where we initially launched. And it's just been a really exciting time to see this community kind of expanding. Really fired up about it.
Yeah, and that community expanding. I'm interested. So obviously this category is extremely competitive and crowded, with the, Nikes of the world, the Under Armours, the Adidas, the Reeboks. And then, brands like NOBULL that are kind of entering the space. Can you talk a little bit about, what it is that differentiates NOBULL from some of those others that I just mentioned that would get consumers to start thinking about the brand?
Yeah, for sure. We get the question, quite a bit around, did the world need another, footwear company, or how did we think about starting a footwear company when there's, billion-dollar brands that are out there? And one of the things that was for Michael and I, we just had a point of view, and we felt like we could do something that we were proud of and that we believed in. And so we created products for kind of a small community initially. And when you think about kind of the world that we launched into in early 2015 within CrossFit, at the time there was only Reebok, and Nike introduced the Metcon the same month that we launched. And so really at that point, the consideration set was really Reebok, Nike, NOBULL, and Innovate at the time. So it was really kind of 4 brands to consider. Now, of course, 2 of those brands were absolutely massive, but we were coming from the community. We were developing a bit of following with athletes in the community, with influential people in the community, and I think really the point of view that we were taking, which was, there are big brands out there that talk about, wear their products and if you want to run faster, jump higher, or be stronger. And quite frankly, at NOBULL, we think that's bullshit. We think that the most important thing to doing any of those things is you working hard day after day. And if you focus on the work and the effort that you put in, you can get the results that you want. And there is something within the broader community that's really kind of connected with that message. And that's really what we're trying to do. If we haven't spent a lot of time focusing on what other brands are doing. We've been focusing on, what's the point of view we want to have, and staying true to that.
And there's nothing more clear of that message than the company name, NOBULL. Maybe you want to talk a little bit about the different channels in which you're communicating that message. Is social kind of the primary way you're interacting with your customers? Maybe there's some other different ways that you're kind of connecting with the customer?
Yeah, social is super important to us. It's one of those things where there's with social media and technology today, there's just clearly never been a better time to start something. And for us, 10 years ago, what we're doing right now would not have been possible. We would have been a tech company, right? Like there would not have been infrastructure in place for us to launch the website and e-commerce and all of those things that we kind of take for granted now. And so we're in a really great place with that. Through Instagram, it's very easy to connect with customers, to develop a relationship with them, not only at a brand level, but at a personal level. Michael and I interact with customers every single day, through Instagram. We get DMs, we respond, we engage, and have a lot of fun with it. And then broader online advertising has just lowered the barriers to entry in some pretty powerful ways. So we very much, think of ourselves at NOBULL as a digitally native brand, and really leaning into that.
So that's a good segue for my next question. You mentioned the brand, a digital native, started online, but you've since expanded into physical retail. So can you talk to our audience a little bit about why that decision was made? Why brick and mortar?
Yeah, for sure. It's been, we're a little over a year into the process and having a blast with it. For us, physical retail is as much about, community engagement and interacting with our customers as it is about anything else. And so, if our stores are running at break even or better, it's an absolute home run for us. And it's really amazing to see, anytime I'm in Soho or even here in Boston, you'll see customers come into their store for the first time, and they stop and they take selfies out in front of the store before coming in. And then they spend a lot of time in the store just not only shopping, but just hanging out with the staff or other people who are shopping, other customers. And it's this really amazing thing that we just love to see, is that our customers enjoy hanging out with each other and meeting each other and talking about kind of, where they're from, what they're doing, how they're training. And it's been this really powerful thing that's been happening in our stores that we're super excited about.
Maybe you can talk a little bit about what you're doing at NOBULL to kind of facilitate that community building that's happening in store, the experience that you're providing. Is there an example or two of something you've done or that you've worked on, or you're working on, coming in forward to give that in-store experience that's memorable, that aligns with the message of the brand?
Yeah, well, we have some really great community managers on our team, and part of their role is just to be out in the community and interacting, not only within the CrossFit world, but within kind of all aspects of fitness. So, interacting with people at Barry's Boot Camp, at Equinox, at boxing gyms, and inviting them in to NOBULL, inviting them in for events, and really kind of engaging with them. We built relationships with trainers at various gyms, and really having a lot of fun with it.
Yeah, and specifically that in-store experience that you're talking a little bit about. I read about your project in Miami at the NOBULL location. Maybe you want to tell us a little bit about that project?
Yeah, we're really excited about that. It's one of the things where we like to try new things, and one of the new things that we're in the process of doing down in Miami, we started in December, is we had a community event. We collaborated with an artist, Kent Youngstrom, who we had done some really exciting things with in early 2018 with a project that we called Artwork, where Kent worked with our sponsored athletes to create canvases that we then use for limited edition prints. So we're taking that to a whole new level in Miami. So we recently did a community event where we involved the community, some of our athletes, and we painted the entire building, which was really exciting. Yeah. We had a lot of fun with it, and that we're turning those prints into some limited edition product that's going to be launching a little bit later this year. And when we think about retail, it's this provides a really unique opportunity for us to engage with the community down in our Miami location and to have some really fun events with it. So we're really excited about it. And if you're in Wynwood, please check it out.
Yeah, and that connection that you're getting with the the greater fitness community, but also you're putting it on a localized level. That example of what you're doing in Miami's is testament to that.
Absolutely.
So then, as a rather new business here, there's obviously in transitioning into physical retail as well as everything that's going on online. There are challenges, I'm sure. Can you maybe talk a little bit about kind of the current challenges you're dealing with as you look to grow the brand?
For sure. Inventory. So, it was one of these eye-opening things when you're an online brand, it's easy to take for granted, the number of styles that you have and the space that they take up, because it's interesting at our fulfillment center, there's obviously a lot of product, but in our stores, there's a limit to how much inventory we can have on hand. Mm-hmm. And so the challenge that we have, especially, the first several months of retail for us was constantly being out of stock of various sizes, and we're still kind of working to improve on all of that around inventory optimization and everything along those lines. We have a lot of work to do, but we're getting better at it, and so that's one of the hands down the biggest challenges for us.
So then maybe this next question is a segue from that last answer. Then where are you focusing your attention to help address those challenges in terms of inventory? I imagine technology systems there, and to kind of get that transparent view of inventory across channels might be something that you're looking into. Any other areas that are high priority for you as one of the founders of the brand?
Yeah, you hit on it. It's technology is something that can be incredibly helpful for us. We've been focused over the last year or two, to make that transition from rapidly growing startup to rapidly growing business, and it's a process. Data, is something that is increasingly important to us so that we can properly forecast, that we can properly monitor and adjust real time. And so technology is playing a really important role in that. And then also just, experience. You make mistakes and you learn from them, and then you move on. And so we're trying to really bring all those things together to minimize, some of the bumps in the road that are certainly coming up.
Great. Well, I'm going to take this opportunity to thank Marcus Wilson of NOBULL for joining me today. Please check out our podcast channel page, mytotalretail.com/podcasts for show notes. Total Retail Talks is available on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Spotify, and Stitcher, but make sure to subscribe on our podcast channel page as well. Also, please take the time to rate and review this podcast. Thanks, and I look forward to you joining us on the next episode of Total Retail Talks.